What is going on, Panthers Nation? Carolina Dad here, host of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast. I am back to give you the latest and the greatest, possibly, news about interviews for the Carolina Panthers coaching staff. And I've got my trusty, dusty tracker that I have here. If you follow me on X, I update this every day as the news comes in. And we had two more interviews today, as we expected, Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris. If you're watching the Dan Quinn situation, you're probably wondering, is he going to go to Seattle? Is he going to take over the Cowboys if Mike McCarthy gets fired? That's on everyone's mind. But now, to date, we have 4 interviews remaining. So tomorrow, we are going to be interviewing Brian Callahan, offensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals. We will also be interviewing Dave Canales, offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On Friday, the coveted Ben Johnson will be interviewing for the Carolina Panthers. That leaves 2 coaches right now, as of this recording, that have not been confirmed. One of them being Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Eagles, and I'm actually okay if he does not interview. Just my personal belief, I was not impressed by the Eagles. The other one, Bobby Slowick. Good old Bobby Slowick. And I've said this, if you followed the show, if you watched the video that I put together for him, I have felt like he is going to pull a Ben Johnson and go back to Houston for one more year. It is a big jump, folks. If you think about him, he's never been a positions coach, pass game coordinator, specialist, now offensive coordinator. To go from an offensive coordinator doing that 1 year to a head coach is a big jump. And we heard him in his press conference today for the Houston Texans talking about, being interviewed for the role or the potential to being interviewed. He said he's locked on the Ravens, focused on the Ravens, folks. And I wasn't really impressed with just his demeanor as a leader of this team that we're going to need. I know it could be a hot take, but I can see David Tepper walking all over him, and I don't want that. I want someone that has a backbone. And as we talk about coaching hires, changes, things that are happening within our division, you take a look at the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm worried. I am worried for multiple reasons. One of those reasons, actually 2 of those reasons being Bill Belichick and good old Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, both of those coaches interviewed. The Harbaugh interview was under the radar because it wasn't really reported until after the fact. You have those coaching names, along with a few others in the mix. Atlanta Falcons are doing a marvelous job of keeping us up to date with who's being interviewed where. And it's happening all across the league. But it does throw a wrinkle into this. Is Jim going to the Chargers? Is he going to come to Atlanta? Either way, I think they're going to be getting their quarterback because now there's rumors floating around. As I've said, Justin Fields to Atlanta, I think it's a possibility. And I think if Atlanta can get a decent quarterback, folks, we're all going to be in for a rude awakening. And I think they're on the upward trend. You look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and we talk about performance in the playoffs and what they did to the Eagles this past weekend too. And they did all this with like $80 million in dead cap money. So think about where they're going to be going. I know New Orleans Saints made some changes on their end. Going to go their offensive coordinator. A lot of folks are like, oh yeah, he works with Drew Brees. Should we get him in the Carolinas? No, I even had some fans of the Saints that vouched and said not to do that. Anyways, I will keep you updated as always with the latest and greatest. This is Carolina Dad. See y'all.